Hello everyone, it's Andrew from GemTCG here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys one of the craziest transactions I've ever done recently. Actually, it was today. At the time of this video, it was today, and it was a trade for one single card for a huge amount of bulk with some cash on top of it. And I found this person from one of the bulk posts I was making, and they reached out to me, and then we just started talking about it, and we discussed like a trade, and I want to share with you guys like the information about that and the details of how it went because it is pretty interesting. And also, if you're new here and you need more one-on-one help starting and growing your eBay and TCGplayer stores, feel free to join the Patreon with the link in the description. And also, if you are a bulk buyer and seller and you need like more help on finding those competitive cards in the bulk to then flip them, check out TCG Spike. We have a feature on there where it shows all the competitive cards in the Pokemon TCG so that you know exactly what to look for, what prices they're selling at, and just all good information like that. And that link will be in the description as well. But yeah, back to the video. So I made a post saying I was buying bulk, and I put all like my bulk spreadsheet with all the prices and all that. And this one guy messaged me. They messaged me before, but I didn't make a deal with them because I just didn't need bulk at the time, and they had like hundreds of thousands of bulk. So I couldn't afford to buy all of that and just have it like sit there in my basement. So instead I let them know like I can't buy it right now. But then I made a post again, and then they reached out, and they had like I believe it was like actually it was exactly 66,000 common uncommon Pokemon bulk, and then 12,000 reverse hollows with 6,000 hollow rares. And they had 3,000 rares, but I told them I don't want that one. So, all in all, the total price for that bulk was $1,068, which is pretty good for 66,000 plus 18,000, 84,000 cards paid $1,068, or it was my offer was that much. So we agreed on the price, and then like as we were talking about the deal, I was like, "Would you guys be interested in buying this Umbreon VMAX, the Alt Art from Evolving Skies?" And then we talked on the phone about it. Obviously, we did some negotiation. We were looking. I was basing it off of the market price, but they were looking more so at the lowest listing on TCGplayer. So there's a little bit of like negotiating, and then we ended up deciding on 90% of market price with like a contingency of that we will continue to do business together, which in my opinion is a win-win because that 90%, like they obviously they didn't want to pay that high for the card, but they were willing to if I would constantly buy bulk from them because they often have to, or like from their words, they often have to turn away customers because they just can't buy so much bulk and they have nothing to do with it. So I said, I'll buy it from you, no problem, because I always need bulk and I have so much like options to make money from the bulk. So we agreed on that, and we agreed that I would give them the Umbreon VMAX for the bulk plus $420 cash on top of that deal, which was very good because, to be honest, I've had that card for like a little over a year and a half now, probably longer. And I just kept increasing the price as it went on, like as the prices went up, because I was doing that 30% markup method, and I never got caught in a buyout with that card because I was always just so much higher. Luckily, I mean, fortunately though, I did that because when I bought the card, it was worth like $600 maybe like 500, and at the time that I sold it, the market price was like $1,658, and then 90% of that was 1492. So that's the story of like this whole thing, and it works out very well because it is a struggle to get bulk, and I'm thinking like even if I get too much bulk and I can't even process all of it, I will send it out to the patrons if they're interested in it. Obviously, it being unsorted, unsearched through, because I know that's a big like value add to bulk. And I even asked the store owner, do they look through their bulk? Because that's like obviously it's fine if they do, but that is a big reason on why I buy bulk. I don't buy bulk just to do bulk lots or like resell it in that way. I buy it because looking through them and selling the singles is a very big profit margin for me. especially percentage wise, because when you're buying a card for a penny and then you sell it for $3, like that's like 3,000% margin. Obviously, it's only a $2.99 margin, but it's like 3,000%. So it definitely adds up a lot, especially if you have hundreds of cards that you're listing at that mark. Obviously, they're not all $3, but when you get some that are worth 50 cents or like a dollar 50, it definitely adds up. And I made a video on how much I make from TCGplayer just doing that method, and it was around like $1,000 a month, which is very good. A lot of people were shocked and they thought that was like low, and I don't know why they would think that, because $1,000 a month in penny cards is like entire profit, and that's 12,000 a year. So don't be too caught up on the dollar amount. Be more focused on the profit that you're making, because you could sell a card like this Umbreon VMAX for 1,500, and if you paid like 90% market, you're only making $100. But if you buy $1,500 worth of bulk, you can make easily multiple thousands of dollars. So yeah, that's just a side thing I wanted to mention. Focus more on profit, not or profit percentage, not dollar amounts, because dollar amounts scale easily, but the percentage is harder to scale. And I'm gonna add a picture up here with like and this is what it looks like. I just have it right by my like garbage bag, but I just had it brought in from the buyer or the seller, I guess trader, if you want to think about it. But so the guy, like one of the workers from the store, dropped it off and has had them bring it into the garage so that I could like bring it in later. And they packaged it up very well. Like it's all in these medium flat rate boxes. Some of them are in large flat rate boxes. And they also labeled it very well, which is very important, because the first thing I plan to look through is the reverse hollows. So that's what I'm going to be looking through first, like this one, hollows. And I'll make a judgment on like, do they actually pick through their bulk based on that, rather than wasting time looking through the commons and uncommons first, because that's more time consuming and there's less room for profit with those. And honestly, like typically I'm not a big fan of doing trades, because it's usually just like you're going through the basically you're going through the process of selling a card, but you're not making any money from it. You're just taking item to the next. But in a scenario like this where you're trading one single card for 84,000 cards, is like, first of all, just saying that is pretty crazy, but like that's different because there's different ways to move bulk compared to just like one card. And for me, there's a lot more room for profit with bulk than for singles. And another thing is that there was cash added on top of it, so it wasn't like a complete trade where I didn't make any money from it. I still made money, and it was such an expensive card. It was sitting in my store for such a long time that I just didn't want to like keep holding on to it. And then another good thing was that I was running out of bulk actually. Like I think I had like 20,000 cards left. So getting this restock was very important. And then another thing is getting that connection is important. And I probably will make another video on this if I don't. But getting connections with these store owners can be pretty helpful sometimes, because when things are bad, they are the first ones to feel that like badness, because they have upkeep, they have expenses, and they need to clear out inventory quickly when that happens. And obviously don't be like a parasite, like just waiting for things to be bad for them, but it's good to be in their contact list for those times, because usually, at least with my experience dealing with stores, they'll sell you their junk that won't sell, and that's just because they know it's not selling. They need to get rid of it and get some cash, like get some capital back. But in times where they need the cash really badly, they'll be more willing to sell the good stuff, and even at a lower price, which I have benefited from sometimes, like not even because I was looking for it, but rather they just messaged me looking to sell. Like I bought one collection from a store the other month, I think like 2 months ago, for like $8,000, and it was all really good cards like Gengar, Charizard, Evolutions, all those good stuff. And they sold it to me at like 60 or 70% just because they needed the capital. And this also works for sealed product too. If the set comes out and it's not doing well, they will dump it all to people so that they can get their money back. So that's another good thing. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I just wanted to share it because it is pretty interesting. Definitely like a cool story, cool transaction. The store owner was a nice guy too. The employee was nice as well. And I look forward to working with them in the future. And if I ever get too much bulk, like I mentioned earlier, I will be sharing that with the patrons and selling it to them at like basically what I paid for, just covering the shipping because I feel like that would be pretty fair. I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know if you guys think this was a good trade or a bad trade. The one Umbreon VMAX for 84,000 bulk and $420 cash. I personally think it was very good, but obviously some people may have different opinions. But yeah, just let me know down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.